Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome, YouTube, Trade Pro, everyone that's watching this. Hope everyone's having a great day. It is Wednesday, March 1st. So March 1st, it's a holiday. Well, I guess yeah, some kind of holiday in Bulgaria that starts and pretty much goes until the end of the month. But there's also a holiday on Friday, so I'm not going to be here on Friday. It's Liberation Day in Bulgaria, so I'm going to be around family XYZ on Friday. So Friday, I'm just not going to trade, not going to do anything realistically. Usually Fridays are a little boring, but watch, I'm going to be away. Then this Friday is going to be Blockbuster. So keep that in mind. But it is Wednesday, March 1st. Hope everyone's having a great day. And there's a few things that we do need to talk about before I take a look at what's going on in the overall equity market. And the equity market is going to be very important. So these updates that I give at the end, where we talk about what's going on in the futures market, are super, super valuable. So relay those and share those with your friends because we just had a decent 25-point move off the pre-market movement here. And I'm going to talk to you guys about a few updates that we have at Trade Pro Academy. So just stick around. In news today, right, we had, or yesterday, I should say, we had investor days coming out of Goldman Sachs and Tesla. It's going to be today, I should say, after the bell. But Goldman Sachs investor day yesterday was a pretty big flop, I should say, consumer flop in Goldman Sachs. That's the main thing that I do want to talk about. This market update, this morning update. There's not too much crazy news realistically, but we'll talk about the banks and how they're shaping up because the investor day took place on Tuesday. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon took the podium naturally, but ended up getting some flack over Wall Street's stalwarts foray into the consumer arena. So the business had resulted in billions of dollars in loss over the past few years, and Goldman is now exploring strategic alternatives for its platform solution unit. It's also in the process of selling some loans in its Marcus Consumer Bank portfolio, as well as evaluating the sale of installment lending platform GreenSky. So Solomon had sought to diversify Goldman's revenue stream away from the traditional businesses like investment banking, but his lack of answers saw the stock dive pretty aggressively by the end of the presentation. So Goldman, I haven't read too much into it, but it wasn't a very good investor day, and the bank really lost the favor and sentiment in terms of on the consumer level, and lost a lot of favor in a lot of those consumers. So I don't necessarily think this is like the beginning of anything crazy, but banks and financials are, I think, into the end of the year are going to be set for a decent downward move overall. In terms of Goldman as well, their recent analysis is telling us that hedge funds and mutual funds are actually warming up the stocks after last year's massive sell-off, looking for actual entries into the equity market. There has been some dip buying by larger institutions, but the overall equity exposure is at historical lows. So the firm looked at almost 760 hedge funds with $2.3 trillion in gross equity positions, as well as 540-ish, 45-ish mutual funds with $2.4 trillion in assets under management at the start of 2023. So amongst the stocks that they were in favor of was Pfizer, ticker symbol FISV, Humana, ticker symbol HUM, Wells Fargo, WFC, and among those out of favor and even shorted were the Dow components, the Caterpillar stocks. So Caterpillar, Cat, Walmart, WMT, Disney, DIS, and there's also a full list naturally that we could take a look at. I want to see what some of the kind of eye-catching names are based on this Goldman research, right? So looking at Wall Street markets calls this week, JP Morgan's global team remains bearish on the stock market and Nomura remains back to cash. So this is another thing. All these big banks, right? They're throwing out a lot of different analysis. They're flip flopping back and forth, bullish, bearish, bull market, bear market. Goldman Sachs, I think Wells Fargo was one of the ones that said we're in a bull market. JP Morgan, last not too recent ago, Jamie Dimon, he talked about us preparing for some kind of cataclysmic crash. Then recently, he talked about how we're entering a positive territory in the market and looking for some upside. So it's pretty unreasonable to follow these guys and expect to understand what the hell is going on. But realistically, in the larger macro scale of things, I still think there is some decent downside. And of course, right, we may not be in one of those cataclysmic massive drops, but I don't think a soft landing is necessarily in play. So just keep an eye out on that. They might flip flop a lot more. Just stick to your standards, and I think the long-term investors this year are going to win, and for the years to come, right, they're going to be buying dips and holding for the next 5-10 years strong quality names, and I think those are going to persevere the most instead of trying to call this every single flip. So some of the stocks of the top holdings in mutual and hedge funds were Pfizer, Schwab, Workday, Humana, Uber, Wells Fargo, Mastercard, United Health, ServiceNow, and Visa. Some of the main ones that were dropped or even shorted, right? We have AbbVie at the top. We have Caterpillar, Ford. I'm just going to go through some of the names that look pretty interesting. We have Tesla at 7th, Pepsi at 6th, Costco at 9th, Coca-Cola, HD, right? These are Dow. These are more low beta stocks that are out of favor in the market right now. We have Boeing, Disney, Intel, right? There's a lot. So interesting enough, but again, equity long positioning is at historical lows. So that's something to consider. We also have Investor Day in Tesla. Pay attention to that after the bell. That's going to be pretty interesting. Tesla shares are probably going to move a lot. The third edition of Tesla's master plan, following part 1 in 2006, part 2 in 2016, will be a major part of this event, which will likely detail the company's long-term expansion plans into a new gigafactory in Mexico. And other announcements could touch on Project Juniper, the Cybertruck, autonomous driving, energy store initiatives, charging network revenue potential, and the Tesla bot. So we'll see how this thing kind of shapes up. Tesla's up about 90% year to date. Massive, massive movement off its lows. It got destroyed last year. So this is going to be a very interesting mover. I wouldn't speculate into it, but watch it as we come into the end of the day. I think Tesla's going to have some decent movement. Now let's go over to our friend the S&P 500, the futures. This is going to be a market update. I'm going to do these market updates every single day naturally, and we're going to be taking a look at what the market looks like on a technical and order flow perspective, because that's what's going to lead us. So I take a look at a lot of volume profiles, take a look at a lot of order flow, blah blah, and today, right, we were staying within the balance that was at 3990, an area that we were talking about yesterday as well. 3990, the top maybe 3992, and we rejected that area multiple times before we actually just got a very strong dump. We're down 30 points from that area coming into the lows of the overnight session. Now, keep in mind, the bottom end of this very tight distribution block was the 74. So if we come back into that 74 region, right, it's going to be an attractive area for the bears to try to hold this out. If we make a strong move down to 50, I think the mid to low 60s are going to try to hold and defend as sellers. But down at the 50, remember what had happened last time around. Not only a 200-day average, but also we have a lot of stuck shorts down at that area. And they're realistically looking to continue getting stuck, right? A lot of buyers opened up in that area, but if that area flushes and we get a large downturn to the downside, we're going to open up a decent bit of shorts overall. That decent bit of shorts, right? We're going to get a huge move to the downside into the end of the week if we manage to close below that 50 and you get a massive flush through that area. I'm going to be targeting the 3910s. That was my target for the week. So I want you to take a look at that, consider those levels, those areas that I talked about. I'm going to see if there's any buyers down at the 50 realistically. If you get a bunch of stuck shorts, I think that's going to be a no-brainer long. As it stands right now, I'm going to be watching the 74 and the 63s. As we get close to the open, I know there's about 20 minutes until the open, so a lot can change by then, but those are the key areas that you need to watch, because we're currently trying to get out of that distribution that have been traded over the past few days, creating a thick block of volume. We're trying to get imbalanced right now. So I'm going to watch to see what might happen in those areas. Now, another thing to talk about next week, actually, what I'm going to do is we're going to be opening up Discord, and I'm going to be doing lives in Discord every single day next week, Monday through Friday in the morning, talking about market update analysis, and then we're going to be trading realistically with you guys. So if you want to check that out, community.tradeproacademy.com, go check out that free Discord. And next week, all of next week, I'll be trading live with you guys. So check that out. I hope to see you there, and I'll be talking about it until it happens. And we're going to be updating naturally in that channel how it's going to go, what's going to happen, blah, 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 to give you guys more of a concrete plan and idea of how we're going to set this up. So if you're excited about that, go check us out, community.tradeproacademy.com, and I'll see you in that Discord. So let's trade live next week and see how we do. So we wrapped up February as well. February was a blockbuster month. Way better than January as well. So if you want to go check those stats out, check out community.tradeproacademy.com, and I'll see you guys in there. So thank you. Have a good Wednesday. We'll do Thursday, and then I'll see you guys next week. So thank you and take care.